To gather, to be present for each other and offer our precious present to our teachers. I would like to invite Sister Huang Ying, one of the elder sisters at White Crane Hamlet, Blue Cliff Monastery, to share. She will share her experiences, her practice, her encountering with Thay from the beginning of her monastic life. Thank you.
Dear respected Thầy, dear community, can you hear me well? I felt a little bit nervous and my heart is beating because I'm beginning of the program and I know that this will be recorded and sent to Thầy. So I'm so happy. I would like to share with you a story, my memories of Thai in the past. But first, I would like to say welcome to the Thai birthday celebration, and we're very happy that we know that about 400 people register online, and so it's an amazing number to join this morning to celebrate Thai birthday with us. So we can give a flower for everyone to join with us this morning. So I would like to share you this story. And this story, I think that many monastics, they knew already because I did mention in his Dhamma talk for the monastic. So in the year of 1992, when I was the second year of novice, that years my roommates I shared with the two sisters, Sister Concentration and Sister Insight. I think most of you know them. And that's winter, that's autumn. We are going to celebrate Thai's birthday. And our room, we plan to offer him a gift. But we don't know, we didn't know what to offer him. So the sister thought that we should ask him what he liked, you know. So and they assigned me to come to see him, but I refused because I thought my younger sister better than me. But they just ordained, and they also, they don't dare to come to ask him. So myself, finally I have just said it. And I remember when I went to Thay Hermitage, anytime when we can visit him in his hermitage, he would like to walk meditation in his garden. And usually I walked with him. And he liked to walk in his garden, and he usually stopped in front of many trees he planted. And that time he stopped in front of the cypress trees. They're very big. I don't know, I think the brother and sister who've been there will know. And usually when he stopped at the tree, he touched the tree, and his eyes looked at the tree with lots of love. And he turned to me, he said, do you know, my child, I planted this cypress tree for 15 years. It's older than you. And it grew up very well. And it is your elder brothers. You should imitate him, So I understood what his meaning. He would like me to practice and grow up strong as a tree. So I didn't say anything. I just nodded my head, and I say very soft voice, yes. But in my mind, in that time, I planned to ask him about the gift. So I didn't dare what he talked about the tree. After I wait for finish his talking, I asked him right away. I asked, dear Thay, the sister, we would like to offer you a gift. So what would you like? And Thay silent. This question is very sudden for him. He didn't think that I asked him this question. And he looked at me and he said, my child, Thay doesn't like everything. But in my mind, I think he should like something. Everyone has something you want. So I asked him again, but dear Thay, I think you must like something, and you must want something. And then he looked at me and he said, I don't want anything. I don't want money. I don't want fame. I don't want wealth. I don't want to have power or famous. I don't want anything. And I'm surprised because I didn't, my question about is the normal gift, but I didn't think he answered this kind of question. And then I continued to ask him again, I don't want to lose my job that the sister assigned me. I have to bring something back to the sister. So I asked him again, but I think you must like something. And then, finally he looked at me and he said, yes, they want you, my children, to love each other. To love each other. And then he repeats again. He looked at me with his bright eyes. He said, if you love Thay, then you love each others. So I silent, and this is also a sudden for me, but I felt very moved when I answered the question, So when I come back, so when I came back to Low Hamlet in Plum Village, and I share with my sisters. And Sister inside, she draw the picture of the balloon, a bunch of balloon with the, with like a flower. And each balloon, we stick a picture, the image of each brother and sister on the balloon. And under balloon, we say the sentence, we wrote the sentence, we love Thay and we love each other. And we offer him that car to Thay. And that's it, the first car, beginning of many gifts later, imitates the similar, like the tree with the picture or the flower, So this is the first car we offer him with our image. I remember I asked Sister Thoại Nghiêm photo, and she gave me the beautiful one. And then I cut on his body, the picture I only drew her head. And she said, if I know I don't give you this, my beautiful image. So we stick the head of the sister on the balloon. And later I understood what I meaning, because we are a diverse community of monastic. We come from many different countries, many different culture, many different backgrounds, and different ages too, different education. But we have to learn how to love each other, how to understand each others. And we have to learn how to accept each others in the diverse environment. So if we love Thay, we have to love each other in the different culture, different culture. So when I encounter the difficulty situation, like if I have difficulty with my sisters, with my brothers, with the member in the Sangha, I remember Thay says, if I love him, it's the way I have to communicate with my sister, I have to reconcile with my sister, to understand her, to understand him, and to love him, to love her. I have to accept her culture, accept her different background with me. So for look larger with a diverse community of lay, the Belgian master remind one more sentence very important. With the Fourfold Sangha, as a Fourfold Sangha, we are also big, different, diverse community. You are lay and we are monastic. And how can we understand and love each other? How can we accept each other? And this is the way to strengthen our community. This is the way to build our Sangha. So today I hope this story when Thay hear and Thay will remember, and I would like to transmit Thay message. Like if we love him, we need to love each other. We love to accept each other. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sister Huang Yim, for such beautiful, long story. I believe that every one of us here has a story to share. I would like to invite one of our eldest brothers. He has been with us for a long time, Brother Pháp Lạc. He's the eldest brother at the Brothers Hamlet, and I believe that he also has story to tell us in 5 minutes. Please, thank you, brother.
Dạ thưa con kính bạch sư Hồng, con kính thưa quý thầy, quý sư cô, cùng toàn thể đại chúng. Con xin được phép nói tiếng Việt. Vì trong những cái nhóm của người Việt thì cũng biết là hôm nay là ngày tiếp nối của sư ông, nên có các bác có xin là nói vài câu tiếng Việt cho các bác hiểu.
So in our group online, there's also a number of our Vietnamese lay practitioners, and they had a request, if possible, we could share some in Vietnamese. So that's what I'm doing.
Và cái video này cũng sẽ được chiếu lại cho xong coi, thì chắc có lẽ là bạn thị giả và quý vị bên đó chắc cũng muốn nghe vài câu tiếng Việt cho vui, mặc dù con chỉ có 5 phút thôi.
And we heard that this video is going to be shared with Thay and attending team in Vietnam. So to have something said in Vietnamese will also be very nice for them.
Dạ con xin được phép bắt đầu. Đó là năm ngoái thì con có dịp được về chùa Tổ thăm sư ông. Đại chúng đã cho phép và con đã về thăm sư ông. Thì khi về tới nơi thì đã trễ sau vài ngày sinh nhật của sư ông.
So last year, the Sangha here allowed me to come back to Vietnam to visit Thay. And so I did, but unfortunately by the time I arrived, it was already, Thay's birthday has already passed a few days prior.
Và ở trong thiền đường của chùa Tổ thì đại chúng bên đó đã làm một cái buổi trưng bày tất cả các sách từ khi mà xong bắt đầu viết cho tới ngày hôm nay.
And I had a chance to visit the meditation hall at the Root Temple, and still on display were books written by Thay that were collected from the beginning when he first wrote until present day.
Và cái điều mà làm cho con ngạc nhiên, kính phục, bái phục, hay là mình có cái từ nào cao hơn nữa thì con sẽ sử dụng, con sẽ xài cái từ đó. Con biết tiếng Việt, tiếng Anh dịch sao vậy? Khi mà thấy những cái cuốn sách như vậy thì con rất là nể, rất là kính, rất là phục. Vì cái lượng sách nhiều như vậy thì tốn một thời gian rất là nhiều để mà có những cuốn sách như vậy, viết ra được những cuốn sách như vậy với những cái thể loại rất là khác nhau.
And I was in awe because it would take a lot of time and effort in order to collect all of the books that Thay has written, because he has written in so many different um, ways or different formats, but we were able to collect all of them and put them on display in one place.
Và có những cái thể loại cho người trẻ, cho con nít và cho người lớn, hầu như tất cả các thể loại, kể cả những cái truyện ngụ ngôn như là Hai vợ chồng con chim, đó là cái tựa của chuyện ngụ ngôn, rất là lạ, con chưa đọc bao giờ.
And I was amazed how many different formats Thay was able to write in, from books for children, for young adults, to for adults, and also folk stories. And I heard there's a story about a family of birds, which I have not read.
Và cái điều này con muốn nói lên một cái vấn đề, trong cái sự con nhìn lại cái sự tu tập của mình. Khi nói tới thầy thì nói tới sự khiêm tốn, khiêm cung và rất là tài hoa của thầy.
And so when I share this, I mean to convey the idea that although Thay is very talented, but he's a very humble person, and that helps me to reflect on my own practice.
Và con thấy là với một cái khối lượng sách như vậy mà xong viết thì con không biết là giờ đâu mà xong thực tập, giờ đâu mà xong dạy chúng, giờ đâu mà xong đi khóa tu. Con thực sự không có thể tưởng tượng được cái sự làm việc của xong tới một cái mức rất là không thể nói được, rất là tốn rất là nhiều thời gian, và thầy ông đã làm được tất cả.
With that huge volume of work like that, I can't not imagine where Thay found the time for his own practice, the time to teach us, to share the Dharma, and yet he was able to do all that. It was just very amazing to me.
Và cái sự khiêm tốn đó của xong thể hiện qua rất là nhiều, mà đơn cử đó là cái chữ thầy. Cái chữ thầy nó trở thành một cái danh từ của quốc tế. Khi nói tới thầy thì ai cũng biết đó là Sư ông Làm Mai, rất là khiêm tốn.
And Thay's humility shine through even in word use. He simply like to be referred to as just Thay, and the word Thay in Vietnamese is now known worldwide. When we talk about Thay, we know that we're talking about our teacher, even though it's a very common word.
Và còn rất là nhiều chuyện để chia sẻ, nhưng con biết là con chỉ có 5 phút thôi, có lẽ đã hơn rồi, nên con kết thúc lại bằng một câu, đó là cái sự khiêm tốn của thầy là làm cho một cái tấm gương cho con, cá nhân con học hỏi, noi theo, có lẽ chắc là suốt đời. Và con thấy rất là hạnh phúc khi có một người thầy vĩ đại như vậy. Đó là những gì con suy nghĩ, đó là những kinh nghiệm và cái thấy của con. Cảm ơn đại chúng đã lắng nghe.
So to conclude, I like to say that in one word is humility is what Thay was able to transmit that to me, and I take that as a practice for my whole life, and I feel very lucky and fortunate to have someone as Thay for my teacher. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Brother Fablak, for such touching words about his experiences with Thay. I believe that whatever that Thay transmitted and touching him will be the river that flowing in him and flowing inside of us. We also have a friend who is a student of Thay for a long time. I would like to call her name Joanne Friday. Are you there? I don't see you on the screen because it's far here, but I know that you are there, and I would like to invite you because you are the student of Thay for over 30 years. And I also would like to listen to your beautiful memories with Thay. We see Joanne Friday now.
Thank you, dear sister. Dear respected Thay, dear brothers and sisters, dear noble community, I just wanted to, I've been invited to share the ways that Thay has touched my life, but we would have to be here for several years for me to be able to share about all that. But I feel deeply, deeply honored to be invited to be with this group of bodhisattvas on the path. It's so wonderful to know that Thay is continuing so beautifully in so many different forms. For me personally, I would like to say that I met Thay, as the sister said, many, many years ago. And for me, the overwhelming feeling I've had ever since has been gratitude, that I spend the biggest part of my days living with nothing but gratitude. Thay shared with us, he spent his whole lifetime distilling down the teachings of the Buddha in the most elegant form so that he could transmit them to us, and in the simplest way that even I could understand. And I can just offer some really simple examples of how it's totally changed my life. One is that he always asks us to ask, are you sure? To me, this is the most powerful way to absolutely cut through our attachment to view, whatever our view happens to be. It's also, I find, very humbling that when I'm sure that I'm sure, and then I ask, am I sure, and find out that I'm not, it's a wonderful thing and creates a lot of spaciousness. A very simple example of how that works for me is when I received a diagnosis of cancer 12 years ago. One of the first things I did was I breathed and sent myself some metta, and then asked, are you sure? And what I realized was I had no idea what that meant, that it could be, I could be dead tomorrow or I could live a while. And not knowing, the spaciousness that was created with the not knowing was so profound. It was such a wonderful gift. There was nothing but peace there. There's nothing to get upset about because you don't know. And I'm so happy that I had received that teaching, because I've been able to live for 12 years using the teachings that Thay, the practices that Thay's given us, to retrain our minds to be able to choose where to place our minds rather than just being carried away by our emotions or mental formations, to watch them arise, to see them for what they are, and to choose to bring our mind back to where we'd like it to be. So to be able to not spend much time at all in fear or speculation, but instead be able to choose to follow his instruction and come back to looking at what's wonderful in this moment, in every moment, again, has helped me to be nothing but grateful that I have everything to be grateful for. To retraining our minds, his teachings in his instruction to be gentle with ourselves, to have compassion with ourselves, that we need to first of all be able to transform and heal ourselves, was so moving to me, because I've been very hard on myself. And I call it gentle diligence over time, to simply go through my day without a militaristic approach, but simply observing when difficult emotions arise, to be able to notice, to develop mindfulness and concentration. So I notice, to be able to embrace them, to be able to look deeply to understand what they really are about, and then to be able to cut through the surface of things and transform and heal the core reason for the difficulty, the core reason for the suffering. I think that we are going through some pretty difficult times right now. But just as Thay has instructed us, that when somebody triggers something difficult in us, it's a gift, that we then become aware of what we need to transform and heal. I'm looking at the situation in the globe right now, that there have been so many things uncovered, so much of the underside of human nature, so many of the poisons that the Buddha taught about, that we become aware. And then we get a chance to use what we learn and to do the best to transform and heal. So all of it can be looked at as being just more and more opportunities to deepen our practice. I don't want to take up any more time. I know that there are so many of us here that have things to share, but I would like to say that what I have found is that in all the time that I've been practicing with Thay, I don't feel comfortable using the word that I have faith in the practice. I have total confidence in the practice, because I've experienced the fruits of the practice. To be able to have gone through the challenges and the difficulties that I personally have experienced and that we've experienced in the world. I've lived for 12 years with stage 4 metastatic cancer, and for the most part have been able to experience a wonderful, wonderful, full and joyful life. And I attribute that to all of the gifts that Thay's given me and given us. I think that I feel enormous gratitude for having lived long enough to be able to expand my capacity for love, and to be able to transmit that as well as I can, and to watch our local Sangha grow from 4 people to 7 Sanghas in our community, to be able to watch the global community grow as it has, to be able to see our monastic brothers and sisters deepening their practice and their beautiful, beautiful capacity for sharing and continuing the teachings that Thay has given us, and to see the lay practitioners be able to live according to those beautiful trainings, and to be determined to transform their suffering and to help others alleviate theirs. It has been the most extraordinary gift I could ever imagine getting in a lifetime. I always tell people when I'm invited to share that the Dharma, as transmitted through Thay, has been the greatest gift I've ever received. And my greatest joy is being able to pass it on. So I feel that I'm one of the luckiest people in the world, and I feel very, very honored to be able to be with this group this morning, because I feel like we are all the luckiest people on the planet. I really appreciate everything that all of you have done to bring this together. So thank you so much for listening.
Beautiful sharing on the path of transformation and healing. And we know that we all feel deep gratitude about Thay, about each every one of us for the practice. Now, another kind of sharing from songs. This is a song from Thay's poem, Alone Again. And Brother Fakoi will share with us in a song. And after that, Sister Nội Nghiêm will recite this song in Vietnamese. So listen and let all the beautiful words of Thay penetrate in our heart.
Alone again, out of all, with intent but knowing the immortality of love, and none the longer for the sun, and moon will shine. Promise me this day, while the sun is just overhead, even as they strike you down with a mountain of hate and violence. Remember, brother, man is not our enemy. Just your pity was your love, invincible, limitless. Hatred will never let you face the beast in man. And one day when you face this beast alone, your courage intact, your eyes kind, out of your smile will bloom a flower, and those who love you will behold you across 10,000 worlds of dying and birth. Alone again, I'll go on with bent head, but knowing the immortality of love, and on the long road the sun and moon will shine, lightening my way.
Xin hứa với tôi hôm nay, trên đầu chúng ta có mặt trời và buổi trưa đựng bóng, rằng không bao giờ em thù hằn con người. Dù con người có đổ chụp trên đầu em, cả ngọn núi hận thù tàn bạo. Dù con người giết em, dù con người dẫm lên màn sống em, như là dẫm lên dung dễ. Dù con người móc mật moi gan em, đầy ải em vào hang sâu tủi nhục, em vẫn phải nhớ lời tôi căn dặn, kẻ thù chúng ta không phải con người. Xứng đáng chỉ có tình xót thương, vì tôi xin em đừng đòi điều kiện, bởi không bao giờ oán hờn lên tiếng, đối đáp được sự tàn bạo của con người. Có thể ngày mai, trước khuôn mặt bào tàn, một mình em đối diện, hãy rót cái nhìn dịu hiền từ đôi mắt. Hãy can đảm dù không ai hay biết, và nụ cười em hãy để nở trong cô đơn, trong đau thương thống thiết. Những người yêu em, dù lênh đênh qua ngàn trùng sinh diệt, vẫn sẽ nhìn thấy em. Tôi sẽ đi một mình, đầu tôi cúi xuống, tình yêu thương bỗng trở nên bất diệt. Đường xa và gặp gần muôn dặm, nhưng hai vầng nhật nguyệt sẽ vẫn còn để soi bước cho tôi.
Remember, brother, Man is not our enemy, just your pity, just your love. Thank you, Brother Pháp Khôi, for such a beautiful song, Brother Pháp Chứng for the guitar, and Sister Nội Nghiêm for the reciting the Vietnamese version of the song. I saw Minh Châu on the screen. Minh Châu is one of our young friends who has been transmitted the teaching from her family from generations to generations. I would like to welcome our young friend to share her practice, her love, not just only from her family, but also from her beloved ones.
Dear beloved Thay, dear brothers and sisters of Blue Cliff, I hope everyone can hear me. It's so wonderful to see the beautiful setup of the meditation hall and Thay's cakes. I want to take this opportunity to share about a great gift that Thay and the Plum Village community has given me. And that's the gift of seeing my life as a miracle and seeing myself as the continuation of my ancestors. So, like most Vietnamese Americans of my generation, I come from a refugee family. My parents came to the US after the end of the war in Vietnam, and I'm in the first generation of my family to be born in this country. And it's through Buddhism, through our practice, through our community, that I learned to touch my heritage and to see the beauty in where I came from. I had a small temple community growing up in Raleigh, North Carolina. And during my teen years, every summer I flew out to California to stay at Deer Park for a few weeks. And it was there that for the first time I felt just pure joy and freedom. As a young person, that's an immense gift. And to have that community as a base for me growing up has meant everything to me. And so today, just gathering here with everyone, I just feel such immense gratitude to this community that has been my family my entire life. And being a student of Thay, I have learned to see that my life is so improbable. It's so remarkable, all the conditions that have made it possible for me to be here. And being a student of Thay has shown me that I can embrace what seems contradictory, right? So being the daughter of refugees, I know that my life is possible because of imperialism, because of war and oppression, but also because of the miracle of survival and of resettlement and of new beginnings, the new beginning that my family was given. So I'm amazed that my generation has Thay as a teacher in this lifetime. I think we're extremely fortunate to have a teacher who shows us how to touch our roots, how to take care of the suffering of ourselves and of our ancestors through over a century of colonization, war, displacement, and most of all, to see the beauty in our heritage and to celebrate the beauty in our heritage and who we are. And so seeing that my life is such a miracle and a gift, I a big question for me has been, what am I going to do with this life? And so far I've chosen a path that I feel is following the steps of my ancestors and the steps of my teachers, including Thay and including Sư Cô Trân Không. And that's the path of service and education. So right now I'm pursuing a PhD in history at Columbia University, where Thay also lived and taught from 1962 to 64. So I feel the spirit of Thay at my university. And people ask, why do you want to be a historian, right? It sounds like not as exciting as other career paths I could have chosen, but at the core, I think it's because I feel called by my ancestors. Because growing up with the Plum Village community, I wanted to understand where I come from, where my community came from. And I want to represent a painful history in a non-dualistic way, in a way that doesn't treat the history of the war as a story of good versus evil, because I've seen that that can cause a lot of pain, not only in the generation that lived through the war, but the generations that follow. And I don't think that that narrative is very healing for us. And so I think that for everyone who's been touched by a painful history, who carries a sort of painful history in their lives, we can heal that through changing our understanding of the past and where we come from. And we can have reconciliation on a personal and a societal level. So to understand who I am and to heal for past, present, and future generations, I think that's the gift that Thay has given me. And that's the inspiration that Thay and our community has given me. And so I feel that all the good and meaningful things I do in this life, I do as a student of Thay, and I do as a child of the Sangha. So that's what I want to share with us today. And thank you to the dear brothers and sisters who organized this for giving me a few minutes. And happy continuation day to our beloved teacher.
Thank you, Minh Châu. Right now, I see the real continuation of Thay here. And I also see Thay's happiness with the brothers and sisters of Blue Cliff Monastery. Over here, we also have a young brother, very active, very enthusiastic in the practice. We would like to invite him to share as a young voice so that everyone can listen to his sharing. Thank you.
So good morning, dear respected teacher, dear Sangha. Sitting here, I touch happiness and a lot of gratitude, especially to our teacher. I see the 9-4 on the cake. It's amazing to see how they have gone so far with us. But I really wish we can add another digit, you know, eventually down the road, 3 digit, maybe 100 and even more. So wish Thay to be a century plant. And but think of Thay, I see that he have made a lot of impact and influence, a big influence for my life. And I can see the way I sit, the way I walk, and the way I eat has him in me. Because before that, the way I walk, the way I eat and sit is different. And so I have a lot of gratitude, and I see he continue in myself, but also in my brother and sister, and also in each of you. And also think of Thay. I see, you know, thing that nourishes me, his solidity and dedication and diligence in the practice. And I was fortunate enough to attend the Thay in one winter retreat. And back then I was a novice, and didn't know what to do and practice around him. But I just be myself. But I see that his silence and his practice nourishes me silently and transmit his living Dharma through things that he do. And even though we didn't talk much, I drove him from hamlet to hamlet during mindfulness day and back to the hermitage. And from time to time, he just shares some story or things that are significant, so that I can learn and take it to practice. And so those things I can see through that. I see his compassion and kind and love. And he have touched so many suffering throughout his life, and he used the source of suffering to practice and to find way and to share the practice with us in his practice and his living Dharma. And I see that it's continued to live on. And I can see that, you know the song, You Are My Sunshine? I think Thay is you are my sunshine. It's a source of happiness, like, the sun, the flowers receive the energy of the sun and its bloom. And, many of us, when we see Thay and receive, the teaching, the guidance of Thay, we bloom. We transform our suffering into happiness and peace. And so that is how I felt. So on this special occasion, I really wish Thay to be healthy and continue with us, as long as he can. And really, I want to see the 3-digit on the cake, down the road. So again, thank you for allowing me to share on this special occasion of Thay continuation. And thank you for listening, dear Sangha.
Thank you, Brother Đại Lực, Trời Đại Lực. We all know that age is just number. From his sharing, we know that he himself can add the number in Thay's number so that he can carry the century of Thay to the future. We would like to invite Sister Chị Nghiêm. She also shared the experiences, the practice, and the sweet memories with Thay to us.
Dear respected Thay, dear Sangha, as I am sitting with the Sangha, I feel very warm in my heart. Today is Thay's continuation. I would like to express gratitude and appreciation to Thay. I feel very fortunate. I was reborn into a spiritual family. I have received a wonderful teaching from Thay. And I live in a good environment to practice in order to transform my happy energy. Now, although Thay lives far from us, we feel his presence in every cell of our body. Thay's Dharma body is apparent everywhere. They had taught us that the practice is simple, but the effect is great. In 2007, I had cancer. Every time I did chemotherapy, the medicine made me very weak. I always have difficulties breathing. At those times, I apply conscious breathing to help me to overcome the pain of the treatment. The practicing coming back to my breathing saved my life. I remember many years ago, as I had just ordained, I had a chance to be attendant of Sister Chankong. One day, I brought food to Thay's hermitage. I had not yet seen her. When I encountered Thay, she said to me, "Please put down the food on the table and sit down to enjoy a cup of tea with Thay." I bowed to Thay and sat down to enjoy a cup of tea he offered. But only a few moments. As a new attendant and novice, I felt uncomfortable. So after a little while, I said to Thay, "Dear Thay, I would like to ask permission to come back to my sister Hamlet." Amused, he looked at me and said, "It's okay, it's up to you." I felt very happy when I heard Thay respond that way. Immediately, I stood up to leave. Just as I was leaving, he called me back. "My child, today is the full moon day. Maybe the moon has already risen. Why don't you go out and see where is he now?" I did as I was told. Probably went outside and looked for the moon. Immediately, returning immediately, I said to Thay, "Yes, Thay, the moon had already risen. It's now directly above." After I shared it, he just smiled and he invited me to now come back again to enjoy some tea. Being so naive, I still didn't understand what he was trying to teach me. Still feeling uncomfortable, I said to Thay after a few minutes, "Dear Thay, I would like to come back to the sister Hamlet." Thay just smiled at me and said again, "It's okay, it's up to you." Here it is.
Una es mía, yo tomé.
I had the opportunity to meditate on what had happened at Thay's hermitage. I could see that Thay has been very compassionate. Thay had offered me the opportunity to enjoy the present moment. I only needed to disengage from my worry, sorrow, fear, to enjoy drinking a cup of tea and watch the full moon in peace and happiness. Dear friends, if you were in the same in the same situation, how would you have behaved? Would you be able to enjoy the present moment? Looking back, thanks to Thay and to the practice, I have become more aware of how to enjoy the present moment. I learned from this experience that if I miss the opportunity to be in contact with what is wonderful in me and around me, then I miss the appointment with life. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Sister Jing, for such precious present for Thay and for every one of us. So I would like to invite David Flint to help me to share how Thay teachings and practice has shaped his life and work. Thank you.
Dear respected Thay, dear friends, dear noble community, thank you so much for being here together. I feel inside of me both the deep connection and continuation with Thay and with my own parents right now and with all of us together. For me, four things in this moment: breathing in and breathing out. Am I sure? Stick to the Sangha. And reconciliation. So breathing in and breathing out, a woman said to me, I'm scared of what will happen when I die. Do you know what happens? And I could truthfully say I don't, but I believe that there comes a time when we breathe out and we do not breathe in again. And then we meditated together, really doing the same meditation that was done this morning, but with no Buddhist terminology. The simple breath awareness and the learning over the years, the many skillful means from Thay and from the sisters and brothers here, allowed this friend to develop a deeper sense of peace. And in that meditation, we could also look at the nature of birth and death and what is not subject to birth and death. I'm a social worker and currently a hospice social worker, so I go into people's homes who are dying to hopefully support them and or their caregivers. And I share that because the questioning of am I sure, skillful means, and just being present have been something that are, as best I can, the center of my daily life and certainly social work. I have a father. He's continues in me. His body died about 10 years ago. But some years before, I went to his apartment and he greeted me, and he had tears in his eyes, and he said, "This is the most beautiful letter I've ever received." He probably didn't quite, I don't know if he used the word beautiful or not, but and I had written him a love letter, which he had on the refrigerator. And it probably took me 3 or more months to do it. The letter itself was short, but the process of really looking into our relationship, looking into him, looking into me, so that the beginning might have just been a list of, you know, his positive sides, but the end was a really deep sharing of his beautiful qualities as a father. And I did the same for my mother. She was a little more complicated person, so she did ask me if I really meant it, and I could sincerely say that I did. And this really came through hearing this practice and teaching often through Thay, but also through Sangha members sharing. And it's a very deep practice of interbeing. Um, um, Continuing with, I guess I'll say, stick to the Sangha and reconciliation. I've been practicing long enough in our tradition so that some people have known me for a number of years, and we know each other personally and in our personal lives. So they've seen me when my life's been going well and when it's been going poorly. They accept me as I am, but can give me feedback in the moment or in a more formal way to deepen myself as a person and a practitioner. And I feel this is really important. Now, I encountered Buddha's teachings before I encountered Thay, so I don't advocate blind faith, but I do advocate learning that love is not the same as like, and that the commitment to each other is a great vehicle for deepening our practice together. And I guess 45 more seconds. Great appreciation and gratitude for Thay's skillful means in making the essence of the Buddha's teachings in the Pali Canon and in the great Mahayana teachings available as means of practice to us. And then that it's really a blessing to be a continuation and to support the continuation of others. It's almost 10 years since Wake Up started here in New York City, and the practitioners then who've now aged out of Wake Up had all grown up in our local Sangha life and grown together and continue to develop new skillful ways of practice. Much gratitude to Thay, to our Sangha, and to my own mentors, and I'll mention Lynn Fine in particular, who really guided me into this practice. Thank you, good friends, and thank you, dear Thay.
Thank you, David Flint, for such beautiful and simple sharing that that helped you to bring the practice home and help you to engage the practice in your daily life as well as your work. David Flint is one of our dearest friends of Blue Cliff Monastery and has been the extended hand of the monastic brothers and sisters to bring the Dharma to the New York City area. Together with David Flint, we would like to invite Marty Soul. She is also the dearest friend of Blue Cliff for over 10 years. And she has been a wonderful Dharma Sangha builder. So I would like to invite Marty. Are you there to come out and share with us about your experiences, your practice in building a Sangha? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yeah. Marty bowing in with deep gratitude to dear beloved Thay, dear beloved community. I'm so honored to be asked to share today. I will say that I went to my first retreat and took the 5 mindfulness trainings, and Thay advised us that if there wasn't a Sangha around that we could join, to start one. So I went home and immediately started to do that, having no idea what I was doing. So it was a process, and there were many things that helped us to build Sangha and to expand in the state of Maine in the United States. One thing was being able to come together with others who were interested in the practice and drive together to Blue Cliff or down to Rhode Island or to Massachusetts or to Connecticut, to other offerings by other sanghas, days of mindfulness and retreats. Not only did we learn from those experiences, but we traveled together. And traveling together in a car for many hours is a wonderful place to practice. We sometimes went off in many directions, but oftentimes we actually did practice Dharma sharing in the car and really went much deeper in our understandings of each other. Another thing that helped in building Sangha has been helping to support retreats and days of mindfulness in different places and learning from those experiences. Learning about Dharma sharing guidelines, which when I first started out, I had no idea about. And sometimes a person who was in pain would talk for the whole time we had Dharma sharing. And then I learned about sharing a form that could support us all. And I was so grateful to Marjorie Marcus and to Joanne Friday, to many other teachers who helped me to learn to offer the form so that we could share deeply from our hearts about our practice in our lives and share our vulnerability and leave time for everyone to have an opportunity to share. Also, I think that reaching out to our now wider community, which started very small, to come together physically, even our great big state of, no, not so great big, but big state of Maine, to come together regularly to recite the 14 mindfulness trainings. And in our little sanghas, we recite the 5 mindfulness trainings every month. And coming together like that really helps nourish community, really helps us to truly practice together and to look more deeply. That's what has helped us grow, I believe. I remember also the first time I tried offering a day of mindfulness. And I remember having a lot of people show up, and I was kind of surprised. And sitting in the circle, I closed my eyes and tried to calm and center. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, I heard a voice. And it was saying, "Who do you think you are? You think you understand the teachings well enough to help these people understand? What's going on here?" And I, all of a sudden, and this has never ever happened to me in my life, but at that moment, all of a sudden, I saw Thay walking towards me and smiling gently. And I recognized, this isn't about me. This is about the wonderful teachings that can benefit everyone. And I will just do the best I can to share what I can. It's not about me. It's about the teachings. I'm so grateful for the teachings and for this practice and for all the transformations that it's offered to myself, to my Sangha, to the wonderful flowers that have blossomed from our Sangha, who have reached out to other Sanghas to help when they needed beginning anew or needed another Sangha facilitator because people were getting worn out. I have such generous people who have come and joined the Sangha and helped to support our wider community. So I'm feeling extremely grateful to have found this practice through Thay's offerings. So grateful. Bowing out.
Thank you, Mahdi, for such beautiful memories and aspiration and gratitude to share with us. Our heart are filled with all the gratitude to Thay and his teachings and to the practice of the beloved community, the monastic community, as well as the lay friends community. Thank you for being there for us. It's very beautiful here. We are in the season of the fall. We are enjoying the foliage. And I know that if we see with our eyes of mindfulness, with our beloved eyes of brotherhood and sisterhood, we will see the foliage with Thay's eyes. I would like to invite everyone to listen to a song. It's called Each Step, one of the autumn songs that Thay really liked when he made this song. Mr. Kương will recite this song in Vietnamese. But before that, may I read the translation of the song in English. Each step through the deserted gate full of ripened leaves, I follow the small path. Earth is as red as a child sleeps. Suddenly, I am aware of each step I make.
Qua ngõ vắng lá rụng đầy, tôi theo con đường nhỏ, đất hồng như môi son bé thơ. Bỗng nhiên tôi cẩn trọng từng bước chân đi. Qua ngõ vắng lá rụng đầy, tôi theo con đường nhỏ, đất hồng như môi son bé thơ. Bỗng nhiên tôi cẩn trọng từng bước chân đi.
Thank you, Sister Kương for such beautiful voice. Please give flowers to her. We are coming to the last minutes of the sharing. May I ask you to linger a little bit longer so that we can watch the slideshow to celebrate the continuation of Thay. And then after that, we will light the candles on our continuation cake, our birthday cake, to celebrate Thay's continuation days. With that, we will invite Brother Phap Khong and Sister Giới Nghiêm to come to light the candle for us. And and at the end of that, we will extend our Zoom time to allow for more informal sharings. So if you are interested, you may like to stay behind for another 15 minutes. Okay, so Sister Thân Nghiêm, are you ready to show us the slideshow?
Okay. Happy continuation day to you. Happy continuation day to you. Happy continuation day, dear teacher. Happy continuation day to you. Let us sing together. Happy continuation day to
you.
Happy
continuation day
To you.
Happy
Happy
continuation
continuation
day,
day,
dear
dear teacher. Happy
Happy
Happy continuation
continuation
day
day
to
to
you.
you.
So we sing also, happiness is here now together to end this session. Happiness
Yes, is here now.
I have
Loved
Weary,
nowhere to
nowhere to
go,
go,
nothing
nothing
to
to
do,
do.
but I don't need to hurry.
Hurry.
Happiness is here
Yes,
and
and
now.
now
I have
I have
dropped.
dropped.
I don't need to hurry.
So it's time to say goodbye. Thank you and goodbye, everyone. But no coming, no going. If we continue to get in touch with our inner happiness, to be with each other, to get in touch with our breath and our stuff, we will continue Thầy in the future. Thank you for this precious moment to be together like this. And I hope that every one of us can find our own way to continue Thầy. We would like to end this session with a group photo. Sister Thang Nghiêm will do that online, and then after that, we officially say goodbye and see you again sometime when all these difficulties has gone. Please take good care of yourself